Yeah, well, let me tell you. Let's go over it a little bit here. Yes, the first war patrol we had was under Moore, and he was just he was like another father, quite frankly, because we're still only 17, 18 years old, and he was like a father to us. But the war patrol we had with him was fantastic, and some of the people that went to the academy were really good guys too. But they all got dispersed, which I'll go on through as we go through this discussion we got going on. And so the first patrol we did pretty good, but when we got when we went through the next patrol, picture this now. We went through the next patrol, and we got a guy on. His name was Lefebvre. He was the admiral. He was a lieutenant commander Lefebvre, and he ought to be court-martialed today. And I've said that in my book. When we went out to sea, and I'm on a radar, and I saw blip after blip after blip after blip, and every time I saw a blip, I reported. Oh, by the way, most of the time I spent in the conning tower, which we'll talk about later. But most of my time I spent in the conning tower, and that's where all the action was taking place, always. And I was involved with just about every operation on that submarine for every single solitary war patrol. But this guy, he ran from everything. So we went out with all of our fish, and we came back with all of our fish. Now, I want you to picture this now. And so he had a war going on between him and the executive officer. And of course, the crew really didn't know that too much was going on. But when we went back, and he said what he was doing, he was patrolling and collecting intelligence information so he could report it when we went back. Well, hell spells. What good is a report that's 2 months old when you go to sea? Because you go to sea for 2 months, and you're going to go back and give him too much of data?
Right.
He's crazy. So what did they do? They transferred him and everybody else off of that boat, except one guy, one or two men. I think it was one guy. Now picture this. Picture this now. You're talking about, what we were able to do. Now we come back and we're going out of Pearl Harbor. And when we were in Pearl Harbor, we had friends with the USS Sculpin, which was SS 191. And we were 122, and we had together with barbecues and ball games and everything else, and we were going through repair together. But during the repair, the Sculpin got finished first, and they went to sea 3 weeks ahead of us. But we were supposed to go out together, but they were not first. But what happened to them? They got sunk off a truck, and they got 40, I think it was 41 was saved, and they put 20, on one carrier and 20 another, which I'll talk about a little bit later. But going on board that particular flight, we had a guy named Admiral Ward, R.E.M. Ward, and Admiral Ward. Picture this now. I tell you got to be qualified submarines on that submarine. And so when we came aboard after the Ninth War Patrol and came out, and we got an entire new set of officers. I mean, all new officers who knew nothing about that boat. Now you're going to war. How would you like to go at that, knowing that that's the kind of officers that you're going to sea with?
Yeah, I wouldn't be too excited about that.
I'm telling you, buddy. I'll tell you, it was really something else. And so on that, just take this for example. Like I said, you will eventually edit all this out, but
we're not editing nothing out. This is your show, boss, and we're not editing nothing.
Coming out of Pearl Harbor, what you do, you what we call you trim the boat. And by trimming the boat, what we're talking about is that we're taking in all torpedoes, we're taking in all of the food and everything else, that all the equipment to take us for 2 months, all the food and everything, and so what he's supposed to do, he's supposed to go through a logarithm, and he was supposed to figure out where everything is going, and then making adjustments with respect to the water and the fuel and everything else on that submarine. And so when you take your first dive, all you do is you're really just doing a retrim, because he had done all the work for that. And then what you're doing the real thing, and you're retrimming the boat based upon the real thing, and everything is on board. So what happened? Now you got to remember, we had just transferred everybody off that boat, and these were a new set of officers. And this was our first dive coming on. And R.E.M. Ward was the very first skipper that we had after getting rid of these officers. Well, we took a first dive, and we went straight down. I mean, normally when you dive, you go anywhere from 2 to 5 degrees. But what we did on that one, then, since he had failed to do that, the boat took over itself, and it functioned as a boat would normally function. And when we took the dive, holy cow, we started going straight down. And to this day, we really don't know how far down we went, but we dove, and we were going to 20, 25 degrees. Now, the radio shack is right there in the control room, and I'm in the radio shack at that particular time. And we were taking this dive, and then all the control room is right there. And just a few guys who happen to be in the control room, and I happen to be one of them, along with the other guys handling the stern, the sterns on the submarine. And hell's bells. And we watched that gauge up there. Jesus, it goes at 20 feet, 30 feet, 40 feet, 50 feet, 60 feet, 70 feet. And then pretty soon it went on, because that particular meter only showed like 100, 150, 170 feet. It went by that like nothing flat.
So you guys could have 300-400 feet deep, not even have been aware of it.
Now we're just taking the first dive. And we've done it before, not a big problem. And anytime we took a dive, if I'm playing ball, if I'm playing cards, I play cards. If I'm eating, I eat. If I'm sleeping, I'm sleeping. That's the way everybody was. And they just were nonchalant, but not after this dive. But anyway, after we dived, and you picture this. Here's a submarine on an angle of 20, 25 degrees, and you're standing there, and you're trying to manually open valves and close valves so that we can do something to protect that boat. And all you can do, and you couldn't get any leverage. You're just really hanging on. Your feet are falling up from underneath you. And so instead of trying to open the valve, you're just hanging on to the valve. So, but anyway, there was one guy in the forward port, on the port side. He immediately first found out was going. He just locked it. I noticed the guy. And the captain, by the way, was sleeping. And so he was able to blow that thing, and we kept going down, 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 and then we turned very, very. The screws were out of the water. If you can picture this, we were such an angle, the screws were out of the water, and of course you couldn't do anything until the boat got into where the screws will take over. Well, I told you the boat is 315 feet long. Yeah. So that boat could be 200 feet underwater, and your screws are still sticking out. And so here we go down, down, down. But when they got in, and then we were in major reverse, and then we very, very slowly, it began to turn around and come up. And when we came out of the water, we came out of the water almost straight up. And when it came out of the water, and then it slammed down on the ocean water, we thought the damn thing was going to break in half. We were scared to death.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you like what you just saw, don't stop there. You can catch the full conversations right here only on Planet Tyrus. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss what's next. And you don't want to miss what's next. I'm telling you, bad things will happen. Oh, I'm just playing. Nothing bad's going to happen, but I won't be your friend.